Well, this is Kingsport, Tennessee. I just got here and there's a southbound sitting up there without a crew. Well, I think it's no crew on there. I looked through the binoculars and couldn't really see. There's the maintenance away stuff right there. And some cars that have been kicked. But this train here, this is the Kingsport subdivision, the old Clinchfield. Well, that's why I think there's no crew. He is waiting for a northbound train of some sort. It may be the one-a-day train that I'm waiting on. This is going to Spartanburg, the yard there in Spartanburg, South Carolina. He'll go through Johnson City, Irwin, and down through the mountains. Pretty ride. That'd kind of be in the opposite direction than Washington. I'm just kind of hid here in case there is a crew. And there's the Habitat for Humanity thrift store. I went in there and looked around. They really didn't have much I wanted, but I'm gonna go down and check this Spartanburg train out. Yeah, I crossed over. This is that same train. That's the engines up there. This is that train going to Spartanburg. And I'm gonna show you a double barrel grainer right here. One of my favorite rides. Yeah, I think they took the crew off this train because it's going to be a while, and I think it's sitting here because there's a northbound on its way in. Well, at least I think they don't have a crew on it. I looked through my broken binoculars, and couldn't see movement. But yeah, check this out. Look at all the room in there. Then that hole there leads to the other side. And then it goes all the way up to right about there where that weld mark is on the inside. The only thing is there's no porch. So you gotta set your gear on that beam and put your feet in first and slowly work your way backwards in, foot first. There that time I tried to go in head first and got stuck. I had to bend the exact way I was positioned when I went in to get out. But I parked my gear over here. I'm gonna get my binoculars out again and look down and see what all else he's got. I may just get a wild hair up my butt and get on this and say the heck with it. It looks like a bunch of chemical stuff. Oh wow, I can see good now. Yeah, a bunch of grainers. Actually, well, we call them grainers, but they haul plastic beads and powdered chemicals. Let's see how close I can. That's as far as it'll go. That's up towards the yard office. Yeah, this hadn't rolled in a while. Probably last week. But I'm in the shade here, and it's not bad. It's like 58, 60 degrees now. See, that's just too out in the open. And that's what we call dirty face. The end without the air tank reservoir and brake assembly on the other end, but the good end is facing forward, so you get all the dirt and wind because you're going that way. But if it's train going that way, that's a perfect end to be on. See, you're blocked. So you get bees and wasps and insects that fly in on you up front. They call it dirty face. Yeah, we're about, oh, I'd say half mile north of the chemical plant called Eastman. And get over to the main line here. Yeah, it's CSX. There's the main right here. That's going south towards Spartanburg. And out of Spartanburg, you can catch to Knoxville or North Carolina, up in that area. And there's the line that other train was on this morning. Now, this used to be part of the Huntington West Division. I think like 2016, they just call it Kingsport subdivision. And most of the stuff here is chemical cars, and really the only reason they have a yard here is because of Eastman Chemical Company, which is all along the mostly south side of the Holston River. Yeah, the only reason Kingsport is here is because of Eastman. And downtown is more or less northwest of Eastman. That's a little bit smaller than Johnson City, I believe. They call it the Tri-Cities, Bristol, Tennessee, and Johnson City and Kingsport. The Tri-Cities. There's a pretty big airport over in Blunttville, which is a suburb of Johnson City and Kingsport. I found a pretty good place to kind of, well, I don't want to say hide out, but you know, I'll walk over to it. See all the brake shoes? Oh, that's a really old one there. See how it's all one piece? I'll find another one that it's made out of two pieces. Yeah, here we go. See how this, it's got a brake shoe and it's separate from that steel plate. So when the brake shoe, I'll actually have to show how they change them. The wheel is right here on the train, and there's a pin, a rod that sticks down through and holds the shoe on. So all the brakeman has to do is come by, and it's got a little notch that turns out like that, and you just pull it up and knock it out. That's so they can change them shoes real fast. Yeah, them older solid ones, man, them things are heavy. Most of the time they clean them up when they knock them off. Then the train will leave, then they'll come along and clean them brake shoes up, throw them away the right way. Yeah, I got into some hitchhikers. These plants right here. Oh my God, they got them little Dorito shaped stickums. Yeah, see these? See that? Man, I was covered in them earlier. They're sure doing the job through evolution to come up with a way to spread the seeds better. This used to be, I think, part of the railroad here. It was like must have been a warehouse, because there's a track down the middle of it in the gully. So they obviously unloaded boxcars on both sides. It may have even been supplies for the railroad that were offloaded or loaded. There's a lot of rabbits around. All them Cocoa Puffs. That's what I call rabbit poop anyway. Cocoa puffs. You got some sycamore trees helping break that concrete up as they grow. Mountain pine, some cedar. There's some dead sumac. It should have leaves on it right now. Yeah, all these tank cars and hoppers, they're here for Eastman Chemical Company. Yeah, charging my old phone. I can charge a fully dead phone my size. It's a 5,000, I think, battery in about 2 hours, maybe a little longer. Yep, I couldn't resist. Yep, make a screensaver out of that. Got my Ritz crackers, a Pepsi. Sometimes I wake up and if I've really had a strenuous day physically, I'll be craving that calories. And I put my binoculars in here now. And my knickknacks, the stuff I need to get at every day, all the time, like my medications and my beard brush, chapstick, and whatnot. But if my train don't come and I have to sleep here, I'll just roll out right there. It's going on about 4 o'clock now. Let's see me zoom in on that yard light. Oh, it's not a yard light. It's a antenna of some sort. Oh, maybe that's why I'm getting data so good on my phone. My other phone. I'm trying to think of a way. It just dawned on me. I think I can do, I think it's called tethering, where I can turn something on my phone with data, and then I can turn something on this new phone and get data from that other phone. I think I'm saying that word right, tethering. But I'll have to figure out a way. Somebody might leave in the comments how I do it. I think it's called a hotspot. But anyway, I just want to show you some things as I think of them. My subs sent me this big marker. I appreciate it. You know, I just listened to a video I made earlier, and I am completely amazed at the awesome audio on this phone. See, right now, I don't hear nothing around me, nothing at all. But I could hear some kind of machinery running, or a fan or something around here. I could only hear it when I reviewed the film. Yeah, I can't hear a thing. This is one of the, this is the most best phone I've ever had. Man, Thanks, Dave. It's like Merry Christmas a million times, and birthdays. Still in Kingsport. Yeah, somebody had asked, had I ever found a dead body? But, well, if you call it a body, it was, well, the first, yeah, two, but the first one was in Ames, Iowa. I'd gotten off the train in Boone and went, I think it's about 30-40 miles east of Boone, where Ames is. It's where the Ames Research Laboratory is and all. And I don't know which overpass that is. It goes across Union Pacific track right away there, but I had gotten down there and found a place to sleep. It was probably 1 or 2 a.m. when I rolled out my sleeping bag. Nothing around, nobody or anything. And I was down in the weeds where if you were at head level, head height, you couldn't see where I was. And I got up, started packing. I had a duffel bag, army pickle bag then, pushing my sleeping bag down in it. And I kept saying, "Hey, you over there." And I turned and looked, and there was like 2, 3 cops, and they were just putting a white sheet over, I don't know if it was a guy or girl, and the one cop come across the tracks. I'm still trying to wake up. He told me that they had, he asked me where I was the night before, and I showed him where I slept because the grass got matted down where I was sleeping. So they took Polaroid picture. This was back before these cameras. Took a Polaroid picture of me like this, and one with my hat off, one to the side, each side, and they just said they needed that for their records. And I'm like, God, man, if there was a bad police force, they could have blamed that on me. So I don't know if it was a guy or girl or how the person got killed. Then in Council Bluffs, Iowa, this UP2, Union Pacific Property 2, I was kind of sick that day, drinking too much, and then going without drinking, you get shakes. So I was looking for a place to lay down and rest, and I come across some bones. This is what I meant by, if you call it a body. I knew right away it was a human. The pelvis bone is what I seen first, because you have a couple of different bones that make up the pelvis. You have the ilium and the ischium, and I could see the top part of the pelvis sticking up, and so I just went. There was a Casey's grocery or little gas station about a quarter mile from there. I just went and called the police, and of course I had to show them where exactly it was. I had to show them physically, point it out, but they wouldn't let me nowhere near it after that. They just asked me, did I touch it? I said, no. And there were some, I remember there were some blue jeans and like a pink dress or a pink shirt that was still with the body. So that must have been the clothes that probably a gal could be in pink, or some guy found a free shirt at Salvation Army that was pink. But that's as far as all the bodies are dead. Now, I've seen some pretty bad fights, especially back in the 1990s, up along the High Line, real bad, that I always thought maybe that person did die. But every time I've seen a fight, I always went the other way. That's mostly why I ride alone. Every time I end up riding with somebody, I end up babysitting. Or the person will be at the store, and I'll remind them, hey, make sure you get everything for 2 or 3 days. We ain't walking back to the store. And this just recently happened. Went back to camp, and the 2 people I were with, they didn't bring no water. But, you know, then that happened also with somebody that was doing a documentary on me way back a long time ago. Wanted to bring a little bottle that big. Like, man, I ain't gonna last but one gulp. Then you're gonna have to leave to get more, and that's time that you should be waiting on your train. I don't know. I just learned to be very organized. Don't ever under get anything. You always over get, and it works for me every time. Now, normally I usually carry 2 gallons of water, and everybody complains. Well, not everybody. You'll hear people tell me, man, that's just too much weight. Man, you got to lug all that. I'm like, yep, and you know what? I have everything I need. I don't have to get up and make a second or third and fourth and fifth and sixth trip back to the store, end up missing my train. I always get 1 or 2 days more of everything than I actually need for that trip, just for reasons like I'm going through now. My train still ain't come and it's almost dark. And a lot of people gripe about, man, we've been here 4 or 5 or 6 hours and now we ain't had a train come yet. Like, man, you got to learn to be patient. I probably learned patience more than anything else out here. Just occupy yourself with something else. If you get bored, empty your backpack out. Dry your stuff out a little bit more. Get your dental floss and needles out and sew up some holes in something. You know, do something constructive just to occupy your mind. But I just thought of those things right then, so yeah, I'm amazed with this camera. Good night.